For KDSJ Local Sports, Clayson Davis reporting as we recap the Spearfish Spartans 2025 campaign, joined by second-year head coach Tom Tieszen as the Spartans in 5-5 on the season, second straight season with a 500 record or better. Coach, what does that say about the growth and the direction of this program?
Yeah, we keep increasing where we want to go. Obviously, this year we had aspirations to go a little bit further and had the ability, I believe, to go a little bit further, but it just wasn't in the cards this year. You know, this is the best 5-5 team I've ever coached. You know, we lost 4 games within one score. We lost to the then ranked number 1 team in the state by 2 in Huron, and then we lost at Yankton to the number 1 ranked team in the postseason by 5. So we battled our butts off. Didn't end up how we wanted to, but a lot of learning happened, a lot of good times happened, a lot of fun happened, and just very proud of how our guys battled all year through adversity, through some challenging moments, and maybe some disappointing times.
And looking at that playoff game versus the Yankton Bucks, really, you gave them all that they could handle as they eked out with a close 12-7 win. But describe the effort that you saw from your kids, especially after a disappointing loss that week prior to Sturgis, and how you guys almost got the job done and upset the number 1 team on their home turf.
We definitely had our opportunities in Yankton. You know, they're a tough team. They really toughened up. You know, when we got inside the 5 there, we had 2 scoring chances we weren't able to take advantage of. That's something we got to work on in the offseason and get better at. So, but again, you know, our guys executed their game plan really well. We knew that we were a team that potentially could do some great things in the postseason, so we held back some of our stuff and let Yankton see it. Some of it hit, some of it didn't. But just really proud of how our guys battled through that whole game.
You got to be pretty excited for the future of this team, Coach, as, again, of course, every team will have to deal with their graduation and the losses of your seniors, and you guys are no different this offseason. But you guys have an extremely athletic junior class returning, especially on the offensive side of the ball. You have a very talented freshman class that I know a lot of people around town are very high on. How do you manage the excitement around Spearfish football with so much of your depth and some of your playmakers that's going to be back for 2026?
Well, first of all, you know, it's always tough replacing seniors. You know, the seniors we had this year were such great leaders. They bought into the program. They did everything right. And I really wish we could continue the season on, not even for the wins, but just to have those guys be, you know, around a couple more weeks for us. But they know that their role isn't done yet, that they're part of what comes in the future, and that they're, you know, in charge of now until the end of the year, getting guys encouraged, training up some new leaders and stuff like that. So, but we do have a lot of athletic kids coming back all around the ball from every grade level. Very excited about that. But, you know, those are potentials, you know, and we got to put in the work. We got to put in the time and commit to doing what's necessary to act on that potential, which, you know, so far all the grades have done a great job of that. So hopefully that continues this offseason.
I know we talked a lot about this season with your quarterback, Thomas Hughes, and how he has grown as a passer. Of course, everyone knows what electricity he can create with his legs. Talk about his development from the start of the season to now as far as learning the quarterback position within this offense.
He grew tremendously, you know. His football knowledge and where he wanted to go with the ball grew a lot. You know, and I didn't help him a ton with some of the play calls, kind of forcing him into, you know, only having half field reads. That's something that we're going to look at now that he's going to go into his senior year. We can start incorporating, instead of mirror routes, you know, we've got options 1, 2, and 3 now. So, you know, a couple plays against Yankton, specifically like our last play, it's just a half field read, and he made the right read for that half. You have to kind of decide pre-snap which half you're going to read. He went with it, made the best throw he could, but if I would have had a third option for him, I think he would have been able to go to that third option and make something happen. So seeing him progress this year was awesome, and it makes me really excited for next year.
Of course, you have a series of receivers coming back, your two leading receivers in Cade Vavruska and Carson Sire returning. Who else on offense are you excited to see step up into some roles with some holes on the offensive line and at your tight end and running back positions?
Yeah, offensive line, that's where it all starts. So we're lucky enough to be bringing back 3 out of 5 starters in Skylar Bryant, Zaya Torpy, and Easton Walters, and then another fourth guy that got a lot of time this year, Connor Alview. And then that fifth spot is kind of right. We've been talking about it, like who's going to be the guy that steps up into that spot. So that's going to be exciting to see. And then we've got a lot of young weapons. You saw some of them throughout the year in a Spencer Marta, a Keegan Ozuna, a Peyton Jones, a Liam Getz, an Ethan Dietrich. We've got a lot of sophomores and freshmen that are going to, see the field next year and be able to come in and give us some valuable time.
As head coach Tom Tieszen joins us from the Spearfish Spartans to recap the 2025 season. Switching gears now over to the defense, coach, and you'll be losing your leading tackler, one of your leading tacklers in Lathan Lucas, also losing some depth on that defensive line, but your secondary still going to be pretty experienced with Carson Sire, Cade Vavruska, Thomas Hughes, Graham Hughes, all returning. Talk about what the plan is for the offseason as far as replacing some keys on defense and who really stepped up on that side of the ball.
We are very fortunate to bring back a lot of experience, especially in the DB level. A guy that stepped up huge this year was Brock Lewis. He's going to return to kind of lead that linebacker corps. When Lathan was hurt and couldn't play, Jack Scharf did a great job stepping in there. He'll be a junior next year. And then we've got a couple other guys that we've been talking to that, if they do the stuff that they need to do this offseason, get bigger, get stronger, they can replace some guys like Jack Coet and Sam Marcus on the edge. So looking forward to see who steps up. And this team does a great job of next man up mentality and putting in the work to be ready for it.
What were some of the major lessons that you learned in your second year as the head coach of the Spartans this 2025 season?
To let athletes be athletes and get guys in position to be successful, one thing we're going to really focus on in this off season is goal line stuff. We want to do well on the goal line and some specific stuff we want to look at there. So that was a huge thing. And then just continuing to build the culture, what it means to be a Spartan football player and help people feel like they belong to something bigger than themselves.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Coach, as we talk a lot about culture with your football team on KDSJ Sports. How have you seen that culture develop more in your second season? And what do you plan on as far as shaping this culture? What will it take you guys as far as going into the offseason and into 2026?
Yeah, our culture was great last year, but we had moments where we would kind of maybe turn on each other or get down when things weren't going well. We didn't have that at all this year, and you could see it in games, and you could see it how we battled through every single game and didn't quit on each other. So that was a huge improvement, and in our exit interviews so far, everyone said that they love being a teammate, that they love their teammates and playing with each other. So that's huge. We'll continue to do things in the off season to foster that team bond, and hopefully it continues to pay off for us.
And finally, Coach, as you look towards the winter and in the spring, what does the offseason look like as far as your plan for the kids? Anything you have planned as far as camp-wise, and what's the overall goal this offseason before next season?
Yeah, in the winter it's kind of off a little bit here. We'll start winter lifting in not too long for people that aren't in sport. Excited to watch our guys compete in basketball and wrestling this year. We have a lot of guys that are multi-sport athletes and love that. And then in the spring, we really hit it hard, with some senior-led activities and lifting, and then getting guys in track. So then we get summer, and once I feel like once the state track competition is done, it's football season. We spend June going to camps, hosting camps, having open fields, and July is a lot of that plus some team bonding, and then we're back to August.
Awesome. Well, Coach, thank you for the time, not only today, but throughout the season, talking some Spearfish Spartan football. Looking forward to talking again with you here in the next few months.
Yeah, thank you.